So can you see the PPT, the presentation on my screen? Just a small confirmation. Just you can write down boom, and that would be good enough, right? You can write in the chat box or in the question box. I will prefer chat box. All right, that's great. I would like to keep this session as interactive as possible. Okay, so before we start, let me put a warm welcome to everyone in this session, and I'm very excited to be with you in this session. And first of all, I would really like to congratulate each and everyone here who has, put up this effort and decided to learn this skill and have shown their interest, because that's the need of the future. That's what we are moving ahead at, and considering what's going to happen in next few years, it's very important for your career growth. So in next 1 minute, I will start this session. Okay, and just a small thing that I want every one of you to understand. I would give you sufficient time to ask questions in the last. Okay, and I would prefer that every one of you keep your questions on hold till the end, because there's so many people, and if you will put up questions in between, I might miss few of the questions, because when I'm putting few things in front of you, I want you to concentrate totally on that. And then in the last, we can have as much as discussion, or I can answer as much as your queries as you want, and I would be super excited and super happy to do that. Okay, all right, so I think we are good to go. And so you can see the on the screen, you can see the presentation. Okay, so which we would be taking ahead. All right, so as I said, keep your questions for the last. You can keep noting them down somewhere, and rest assured that I will try to answer, and will answer whatever whatever queries or whatever things you have in your head. There might be a lot of things that you might be thinking. There might be a lot of things that you want answers to, and I can totally understand that, because that's the part of excitement. What I actually say. Okay, so excitement is always good, because that motivates you to move ahead in your life. All right, so let's begin with the presentation. Okay, so I might ask you a few things in between, and you can reply me in the chat box, because that's what will make this session interactive and more engaged and more learnable. Okay, so fine. uh, we all know what shine learning is. Okay, that's quite something, doesn't need any introduction. Okay, so okay, so Shine Learning, it's just a brief introduction. It's the India's largest professional course and career portal. Okay, it is launched by Shine.com, which is widely popular, and it's now the biggest marketplace for e-learning courses in India, with having top-notch partners from the country and abroad. So in order to give your careers an upskill has been a very popular word nowadays, because especially after this lockdown and all this stuff, people have been running behind this upskilling. But you really need to understand why you are doing it. What's the reason behind that? Why I should do that? Okay, because unless and until you are clear in your head that what you are doing, why you are doing, it will not be of that productive. Okay, so tell me one thing. So this is the flow of the program, this is the flow of this session. So we'll be first understanding what data science is, because that's the all the course curriculum is all about. Then, who is a data scientist? If you are taking this course and you want to become a data scientist, then I believe that the very first thing you need to understand, that who is a data scientist, what they do, right? Because data science or data scientist is the most hyped word, or a profession that you might be hearing from last few years or few months. But why it's so hyped, why it is of so much importance and significance, that is very important. Then types of data scientists can work in various domains, profiles, functionalities. So you need to choose, you need to think that which functionality you belong or where you would like to go. And then uh, we would go into the skills that you need to become a data scientist, because this session is all about understanding that if you want to be data scientist, then how do you really need to move ahead, what type of skills you want, or you need to have in you, you need to inculcate, so that you can successfully act like a data scientist. And then finally, we will learn about the data science masters program that is being offered through Shine Learning. Okay, so data science roles and responsibilities. So once I will go through this session, this would be very clear in your head that as a data scientist, if you become the data scientist of tomorrow, then what would be your rules, what would be your responsibilities, what you will be doing, all this stuff would be totally clear in your head. And yes, if you have some questions, if you have some queries that you want me to answer, I would be most happy to do that. Okay. So, companies hiring for data scientists, frankly speaking, idly speaking, from small to middle to big size firms, everyone need data scientists today. Go to LinkedIn, go to any Shine, or wherever you see, you will find companies asking for data scientists. Maybe at junior level, maybe at middle level, maybe at senior level. It totally depends upon how you are moving ahead and what type of area you are choosing. But from small to big to medium size, every company demands data scientists today. Why? Because that's the need of the hour. The data is the need of the hour. Without data, there is nothing. There is no analytics, there is no research, there is no decision making. There used to be time when data collection used to be very difficult, right? Because the availability of data was a question. But now that's not the case. With this online evolution, with this internet evolution, everything has become so available. So when we talk about companies hiring, when we talk about scope of career of being a data scientist, then trust me, there is no stopping, there is no stopping you. You are free to uh, on your own. So it's like what I can say, like the limitation is in your mind. If you free yourself from that limitation, there is nothing that can stop you. All right, so these are just few examples. Then why you should really go, if you look at certain statistics like Glassdoor. So Glassdoor research says that data scientist is the number one job in the US for 3 years in a row, right? And trust me, for next 10, 15 years this is gonna happen, and maybe beyond that. What happens, the ideology of the concept might change, the requirements of the concept might change, but the logic will not change, my friend. The logic will remain as it is, and that's what is important. Not only Glassdoor, if you look at certain surveys made by Forbes, certain surveys that have been made by IBM, you will find that there has been a continuous increase of 30% in the requirement of data scientists every year. I should say good data scientists every year. It is, you have to differentiate. A good data scientist is the one who really know what he or she is doing. Okay, so there's a lots of scope, a lot of demand is coming for good data scientists in the country and abroad. And if you go to pay scale, if you really want to see the level of remunerations that are being offered to data scientists or the people in this category, go to pay scale, see the research, and you will find, depending upon the number of experience you have in this field, it's an exponential increase that you get. So there have been a lot of surveys, there have been a lot of researches which tell you that why this career is the most demanded career today, tomorrow, and maybe day after tomorrow. And that's what we are talking about here, of being a data scientist. So what is data science? Now I will like to ask you a question, and and you need to answer me, okay? So you can use the chat box to answer me this thing. Tell me how many languages you need to communicate with the rest of the world, or which language you think can help you in communicating with the rest of the world, if you think in today's scenario, or especially in terms of business scenario. I would like to get certain responses in the chat box. I would really like to see what do you think. Don't think about wrong or right. It's more like what really you think. That's what I want to understand. Which language you think can help you in communicating with the rest of the world today? Okay, I get one response is English from Chintan. All right. So any other response? Prefer to write in chat box rather than question one. Please have some response. I would really like to see certain responses. I've got only one response, which is English. English, English, English. All the people have written English. Four people have answered English. Okay. So no other answer? Any other answer you think except English? Okay, so one has answered single language for humans are English, but for computers it will be it will be the data. Okay, so one interesting answer that I have got is from Harnit, that and he answers is that single language for humans are in English, but for computer it will be data. That's great. That's an excellent answer. I was not expecting it, but frankly speaking, you have taken it away. Excellent, excellent. See, that's what I'm trying to portray here. We are talking about a data scientist, right? So who is a data scientist? The one who has to play with the data. Think of this business world. Today, in this business world, we talk in the language of data. Every decision that we take is based on data. And that is why the data has become so relevant today. Don't you think so? See, the word itself says you are a data scientist or you want to become a data scientist. So that means the primary job or your primary focus would be of playing with the data. So in this today's business world, the thing which really matters for decision making is the data. If you have sufficient data, if you have good data, you can make good decisions. You can make data driven decisions. That's the word I use. The decisions which are driven by data. Okay. So data science is all about gaining meaningful insights from the data, so that whenever a business takes a decision, that decision is based on some relevant information, some relevant data, that I would say. Okay, fine. So that's what the data science is all about in a simple language. Or if you just want to put it in a more technical language, it is the purpose of data science is to extract, interpret data effectively, and present it in a most simple and non-technical manner. Why non-technical? Because many people who would be understanding your decisions, who would be reading your decisions, might not know how to analyze data. Okay, so you have to write it in a non-technical language so that the end user, the end consumer, can understand what you are talking about. Okay, so everyone cannot be, cannot be tech savvy, everyone cannot be data savvy, everybody cannot be into research, and that's why these profiles have been made. That's why these courses are important, for you to understand and learn, and that's where you get the edge in your career. Okay, so that's what I asked you, that which is the most important language if you want to communicate in today's world, and the response that we got is that the most important language is the language of data. Okay, and obviously to analyze data you need the help of technologies. Okay, Like there are a lot of languages, there are a lot of technologies nowadays that one can learn. So some of the popular, can you name me some of the popular languages? If anybody can tell me few certain languages or technologies that can help you in being a data scientist. Okay, I got one response: Python. That's great. Python's C. Okay, any other response? Any other language that you can think can help you in becoming a data scientist? SQL. Okay, SQL. That's great. SQL. Saikan Shinde. SQL. Okay, dealing with SQL databases. Yes, that's very, very important part of being a data scientist. Very good. Any other response? R. Okay, that's one different response. R. Great, great, excellent. Tableau. Oh, very good. That's Tableau. Excellent. Tableau is an excellent tool for data visualization, and data visualization is a very, very important part of being a data scientist. We'll discuss it later on. Excellent. So some great responses I have received. So certain few technologies that can really help you in actually okay, one more response: Power BI. Yes, 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 very good. Power BI is again a very, very significant tool when it comes to visualizations. So that's what I was referring, that there are a lot of technologies that can help you in becoming a complete data scientist. Okay, a complete data scientist, and these technologies includes R, Python, which is the most demanding and the most used. After Python we have R. Then if you want to be domain specific like visualizations, then Tableau and Power BI are certain languages that can help you through. Okay, that's great. Now, who is a data scientist? Another important question: who is a data scientist? So another question to you: according to you, what are the most important skills that you need to be a good data scientist? All right, come on, give me some good responses. What are the skills you think you need to become a good data scientist? Okay, one response: data analyzer. You have to be a good data analyzer. Okay, taken. That response is taken. Analyzing the data. Interpretation skills. Very good. Yes, you need to interpret the data. If you don't know how to interpret the data, you cannot drive decisions. Excellent. Any other response? What skills you think you need to become a good data scientist? So ideally, there can be a lot of things, but I will summarize this in 4 5 points. One, the ability to take data. Okay, if you want to be a good data scientist, the very first thing you need the ability to take and collect data. Second, you need to understand data. It's very important that if you have data, you understand the data. Okay. Third, process it. See, there are two words, like one is data, the other is information. Now, data is a very rough word. Data is something which is not processed. So, since it is not processed, you might not be able to use it directly in your decision making. So, you have to make certain transformations in your data. You have to make some manipulations in your data. So, unless and until you do that, you cannot process your data. Okay. Fourth, extract value from it. Okay, so till the time you don't know how to extract value from your data, so you have the data in front of you, but then you don't know how to extract the value from it, then it will again create problem for you. Value means getting some good information from the data. Okay, like one response I got is: anyone who understands and able to represent data in a layman language. That's a very, very good response that I have got. Okay, that is the only way you can extract the value from data and you can communicate the data. So the fifth important skill you need is communicating the data to the end user. Okay, because the people to whom you really need to need to make them understand what the data is, that is possible only when you are able to communicate and visualize your data to the end user. Okay, so that is what you need to be a data scientist or a good data scientist. Okay, so this is what we have discussed so far. Certain technologies can which can help you in becoming a data scientist, and this is what we need. Few pointers that I have given to you, that what things you need to become a good data scientist. One is strong business acumen, mathematical reasoning, machine learning, and coding. Okay, now coding here doesn't mean that you have to be a coding pro to learn this course. Okay, so even if you are zero to coding, you don't know anything about coding, you are totally new to coding, good enough. Okay, you don't need to be you know there is no as such there is no requirement that you have to know coding or you should be a coding pro or coding expert before learning this course. So now the types of data scientists, because now this is actually important for you to understand. The reason being that once you will be over with this course. Okay, so once you will actually go into your career lines and try to work as a data scientist, there are different profiles that are being offered. Okay, so different companies have different requirements, and according to their requirements they share their job descriptions with you. They share their requirements with you. Okay, what are they expecting from you? Okay, so those expectations, so what we have done, uh, I would be first showcasing you that what are the types of data scientists or the areas where the data scientists can work, and then we will show you certain job description samples as well. Okay, that what are the job descriptions that these companies normally give when they ask for the applications. Okay, and why we will show you these job descriptions, because I would be drawing certain conclusions out of it and linking to the course that is being shown here. Okay, so now broadly speaking, we can divide data scientists in two broad categories. One are the product focused data scientists, and the other are the data scientists based on business intelligence. Okay, so that's the two way you can divide the data scientists. Okay, so let us first understand the product focused. So we have majorly have four categories under it. One, the data researcher. Two, data developer. Three, data creatives. And four is the data business people. Okay, these are the four profiles, you can say, which companies normally share when they need data scientists for their organization, if they are looking for a product focused data scientist. Clear? The second broad category is the data scientists based on business intelligence. So on the basis of now these are the data scientists which are more analytical based. So we have exploratory data scientist. The word itself suggests exploratory means to explore. Okay, the second is the marketing data scientist. So these are the people who work more in the field of marketing analytics. The third is the research data scientist. So the people who are more engulfed into the area of research. And the fourth are the operational and product data scientists. Okay, so this is the category or the profiles of data scientists that companies look for when they are asking for applications from the desired candidates. Okay, now I will show you certain job descriptions based on the category. Okay, so every category has a certain type of job description which company share, and these are actually real job descriptions. These have not been made by us. Okay, so let us first talk about data researcher. To be a data researcher, there are certain skills that you need. Okay, there are certain important skills that you need. Like for example, you have to be little proficient in statistics, because statistics is a branch of science which helps you in collection, organizing, analyzing, interpreting, and presentation of data. Okay, so you can say that if you're good in statistics, or you can learn statistics, then you can be a good data researcher. Then strong domain knowledge. So in whatever area you want to commit research, so in that area you have to have a strong domain knowledge. For example, if somebody is good in the area of operations, somebody is good in the area of finance, then the other person should have very good knowledge in the area of finance, or in marketing, or in human resource, or in operations, or in product development, or whatever case it is. Okay. Then the third is the interest for research. If you are not aligned towards research, right? Because research is a field that actually requires a lot of time, lot of patience. Okay. To perform a competitive research, you have to be very patient. You have to spend a lot of time in collecting data. You have to spend lots and lots of time in understanding it, drawing interpretations out of it, and in certain cases there might be little mathematics oriented background inside, because when you have data with you, you might have to apply lots of mathematical and statistical skills to draw the inferences out of it, to draw the logics out of it. Okay. So and then finally obtaining data and recognizing the trends. Okay. Because unless and until you are not in a position to collect data, you cannot process it. So these are certain skills that you need if you want to be a data researcher. Okay. And this is the job description. On the right, you can see we have shared a job description, this which is actually original and has been shared by one of the companies. Okay. The second is data developer. Okay. Now these are the people who need to have proficient in coding, because you are a developer. Okay. So now if you are a developer, then that means you have to be proficient in coding. So if you are not proficient in coding, then you might not be able to act as an efficient developer. Then machine learning is one area where it's not compulsion. See, everything is not a compulsion. It totally depends upon the profiles. But these are the general requirements which we have seen, we have analyzed after looking into the JDs of different companies. Okay, so you have to have to understand that way. So, proficiency in coding, machine learning area. So you might require a good learning or good expertise in the area of machine learning, and then handling of data. Because you are a data developer, so you need to take ownership of the data related problems. You have to see that data should be available. You have to see that data is good to process. You have to spend a lot of time in extracting data, uh, in transforming data, in loading data. Okay. So you have to take care of the entire database setup. Okay. So you have to take care of the entire database setup. So if you think you can do that, then this profile is for you, the profile of being a data developer. The third is data business people. Now this is more a general and a general analytical profile, where you can go ahead if you have a little strong business acumen. You think you have the skills of uh, drawing decisions out of the data. Basic understanding of coding is good enough. You don't need to be a pro. And then you have to data handling. Data handling is common everywhere. Doesn't matter what type of career you want to choose ahead for yourself, you need to handle data. Right? If you are a data scientist, then you have to handle data. That is why the profile is you want to be a data scientist, so that means you want to play with data. So you must have a very 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 strong desire of playing with data. That the word I can use. So if you think that you have that urge in you, you have that excitement in you of handling the data, of playing with the data, of playing with numbers, trust me, this is for you. This career profile is for you. Okay. So then the second broad category we discussed was the data scientist based on business intelligence. So let's take our example, exploratory data scientist. So these are the people who perform exploratory research. So what is exploratory? Any answers? What is exploratory? Come on, give me a quick answer. What is exploratory? I actually told you about this in the last two slides, before that. Okay, one response I got is it's unique, something which is unique. Okay, what is exploratory? Okay, when I say exploratory data scientist, what comes in your mind? What would be your job profile? What will you be doing? Okay, exploring the avenues, that's one response. Or exploring the datas. Okay, exploring. Okay, and what is exploring? Just I want to understand that. If you can tell me what is exploring, what do you mean by exploring? And response. Okay, dwelling deep into the data. That's a very, 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 very quite impressive answer. Exploring the bigger chunk of data to usable data. Okay, too much exploration of data to look for each and every detail. Okay, that's great. That's a nice response. It's a very, very nice response. So I'm finding the same group of people answering me. Can we have some new ones answering something? Huh? Or you only want to listen? Okay, researching the data. Saikant, researching the data. Research. Research is made up of two words, re and search. That means searching again and again and again. That's great answer. Researching the data. That's what exploration is actually, about. You need to uh, look behind the data. See, understand this in a way. I try to be a little imaginative here. There is a data, okay, and after data there is a veil, okay, facade, a veil, and behind the veil there's a lot of hidden information. Okay, there are three layers. There are three layers. The upper layer is the layer of data. Okay, the upper layer is the layer of data. Then in between there is a veil, and behind the veil there's a lot of important information which is hidden. If you want to see this hidden information, if you really want to understand what is hidden behind the veil, you have to explore the data as much as you can. So exploration helps you in understanding what is hidden behind the data. Okay, because that's a very, very important information you need to look for, and that's been known as exploratory research. Okay, now exploration needs a good understanding of statistics. If not advanced, then a basic and intermediate level will do good. And you need to model data. Data modeling means uh, trying to extract certain important equations out of the data. Like for example, forecasting data. If you want to forecast few things, if you want to predict few variables, then data modeling can help you in doing that. Okay, so that's an exploratory data scientist. Then we have marketing data scientists. So name itself suggests the people who want to be in the field of marketing analytics. So those are basically the marketing data scientists. So again, what are the important requirements that you need is one, a sound understanding of the user database. So the people or your users, you should know who are they. Good knowledge of the market, obviously, because if you're analyzing a market, then you need to know what your market is all about. Then performance evaluation, risk analysis is again a few things that you need if you want to become a, or if you want to go for a marketing data scientist. Okay, so on the right there's a JD which we have shared by a company. Okay, so if you look at one or two points of the above, it will, all these things will highlight on this specific skill set that you need if you want to become a marketing analytics. Then research data scientist. So I have already told you that if you want to be a research data scientist, you have, first of all, what you need is you need a strong understanding of market and its trends. See, research is all about fondness. If you are fond of researching, if you are fond of playing with data, if you have that level of patience that you can hold on to the data, you can become a research data scientist. The requirements of the specific skill set are very, very basic. You only need to have sound understanding of your area or your profile or your domain or the market or the trends. You need to have good analysis of the business requirements, and then obviously what you need is gathering insights from the data and communicating it to your end user, because ultimately whatever we are doing it because we want to communicate with the people. We want to communicate this whatever interpretations we will get from the data to the end consumer. Okay, so this data scientist is there. So in this way there are a lot of things. These are a few examples that I have shown you. Okay, so that you are aware of possibly what are the things that companies look for when they are asking for recruitments. Okay, so now based on whatever we have discussed above, okay, based on whatever we have discussed above, I have shown you certain job descriptions. I have told you that based on certain profiles what are the skill sets companies really look for. If we summarize everything, okay, so these are the things that you need to become a desert scientist. And this is not out of my own head. This is not out of from book. This is actually we have pointed these things after analyzing the requirements of the companies, their job descriptions. We have talked to numerous number of experts on the people who are working in the industries, and these are the 10 points that we have come out with. So these are the 10 things probably you need to become the data scientist of tomorrow. Number one, statistics. Okay. I told you that what is statistic. If you ever see the definition of statistics, it is very simple. The definition of statistics says that it helps you, number one, in collection. That means collecting data. Number two, in organizing data. Number three, in analyzing the organized data. Number four, taking interpretations out of it. And number five is the presentation of the data. Presentation of the data to the end consumer. So statistics is one of the very important things that you need to become a data scientist. Two, the right technology. Earlier I asked you a question that what do you think are the technologies that you need to become a data scientist. So most of you have answered me Python, R, and that's true. Python and R are the most usable languages when we talk about data science or machine learning or artificial intelligence or neural networking or whatever you can think of in this field. Certain responses I got were SQL and all that stuff. Yes, SQL and all are not the languages actually. They are basically the data processing forms of data processing. So how you can process your data in the form of a database. It can be a relational database, it can be a non-relational database, and so on. So yes, those skills are required, but that's a part of your entire course. Then ETL. ETL means explore, transform, load. E, explore. T, transform. And L means load. So you need to first extract data. Once you have extracted the data, you have to transform it. Why you need to transform? Because you have to make it usable. Okay. And then finally, you need to load data in the database. And that is what database developers do. Okay, so once the data is loaded in the database, then it can be further used for other purposes. The next important skill, data wrangling and exploration. Okay, so we have already discussed it, what exploration is. Wrangling is another very popular word. uh, there is another word that you can use which is known as data munging. Munging, data munging. Okay, so data wrangling is again another word for data transformation. Okay, so when you transform data, you map data to make it more usable. We call it as a process of data wrangling or data munging. Munging. Then you need to have experience with machine learning algorithms, because machine learning is a very, very important part if you want to become a data scientist. Then next is deep learning. Okay, now deep learning is a part of machine learning. Machine learning is a very broad area, and deep learning comes within that. Okay, now deep learning is something which is based on neural networking. Anybody can tell me what is neural networking? Any quick answers if I can get? What is neural networking? If anybody can give me a quick response on what is neural networking? Anybody knows? Because that what deep learning is. Okay, one response checking the data path flow. Okay, okay. What else? In the response, in the response, no. Okay, I give you a very simple example. All of you must have heard of this, driverless cars, automatic cars with no drivers. Now, what is this concept? See, deep learning is something which talks about mimic of human mind. That means mimicking the human mind or duplicating the human mind. Let's say, for example, as a human mind, as a human, I know that there's a red light and I need to stop a car. As a human mind, I can see that there's a lot of rush on the road, so I don't need to drive fast. Now, this is a human mind. Okay, I can mimic a human mind. Now, neural networking is all about mimicking the human mind. Okay, it is all about making machines capable of mimicking the human mind. That means machines can understand that if it is a red light, I have to stop. The machine can understand if there's a lot of rush on the road, the driving fast is not the requirement. Okay, that is what deep learning is there. It's a part of machine learning. Then big data processing frameworks. So there's a lots and lots of talk about big data in the town. And big data, trust me, search as much as possible wherever you want. There is no definition of big data, no logical definition or no standard definition of what is big data. At most we can understand is something which is too huge to process. Otherwise there is no official definition of big data. So now something which is too huge to process becomes a big data. Now, what is too huge depends upon you as an analytic. As an analyst, it depends upon you. You have to decide whether this data is big or not, or big enough or not. Okay, simple. So there are a lot of if you want to process big data, because big data means it's too huge. So if you will use common means, or if you will use common methodologies, then the processing will be very slow. So in today's world, you cannot be slow. So you need specialized frameworks like Hadoop, you need Spark, Flyne, and all this stuff to actually process your big data fast. Okay, so these are the big data processing frameworks. Then data visualization. Visualization means graphically analyzing your data with the help of plots like line plot, bar plot, histograms, and so on. So data visualization means that I want to visualize data with the help of plots, with the help of graphs, with the help of diagrams. And that is where the tools like Tableau comes in. Okay, now Tableau is a very, very significant tool when we talk about data visualization. It's one of the most prime tools which can help you in understanding or in visualizing data. Okay, then business communication. Obviously, if it's very important that once you have drawn the interpretations out of the data, you need to communicate it to the people. You need to communicate it to the end user. So if you're not able to communicate it, it will not work. It's of no use. And then finally, and probably the most underrated requirement is the problem solving skills. You have to think like a problem solver. You have to generate skill inside you that I can be a problem solver. And you know what is the only single requirement to be good in problem solving? One single requirement. You need nothing else to be good in problem solving. Trust me. That one requirement is, if you want to be really good in problem solving, is that you have to trust yourself. You have to trust that you have the capability of understanding your problem, patiently understanding your problem. Because if you once you understand the problem, you will automatically get ideas of how to solve it. You will be technically skilled to do that. But then a little bit of patience is required and trust on your skills. Okay, problem solving is again a little hyped word, but trust me, it's not something which cannot be gained. It's in every one of us. We just need to explore it that way. Okay, so these are the certain skills that we need to be a complete data scientist as per all the research that we have done. Now,